Like a Hellcat.
That's a little bit better. It is a stunner from Fabio Quagliarella. Top again for Jacko, who's in for Roma and scores.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast of Calcio told like it is, and soon we're going to be headlining teams like Chievo and who the hell else is in Serie B that's going to come up? I'm Frank Ravello. He's Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. How we doing? It's a lively Sunday night, huh?
Yeah, slow news day, right?
Shoes, jeez. Yeah, things just hitting the wires officially, I guess, 3 hours ago. But yeah, it's been crazy all day with rumors going back and forth, and yeah, a lot to get into. And mostly a lot about that. But I mean, this Calcio in general was pretty awesome as well. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
How in the actual fuck can you be the vice president of some Super League and your team loses to a team that you say is too small to be in the Champions League? How does that work? How in the fuck does that work? Fuck Andrea Agnelli. Just fuck them.
To be fair, they're about to lose to the Scudetto winners, potentially.
It could be. Atalanta might be your Serie. Atalanta might be your Scudetto winners this season.
Oh, my goodness.
This is insanity. I mean, everything it's all going down. UEFA's going to have an emergency meeting tomorrow about all of this.
Yeah.
There's tons of stories going on. And for everybody that lives under a rock,
sorry.
And all apologies to if you literally do live under a rock. But it's been announced, a formal announcement was made that there is a 12-team founding membership of a European Super League, which involves AC Milan, Inter, and Juventus. Okay, So we've got 6 clubs in England, among them Tottenham Hotspur for some reason, Arsenal for some reason. And then you've got 3 teams from Spain, the 2 Madrid teams, and Barcelona.
Yeah.
4 of the English teams aren't even in the Champions League spots in the EPL. I mean, how absurd is this? And just the timing of all of this is terrible.
Yes.
During a pandemic where people are struggling, man. People are trying to figure out how the hell they feed their families and all this other stuff. And these assholes are going to come forward and they're going to create this league, that is just going to mean a lot more money for them. And they say, well, it's going to be great for the game and money. How? How is it going to be great for the game? Jurgen Klopp, I read a snippet of his said. He said, who the hell wants to watch Real Madrid play Liverpool for 10 straight years? I know I don't. Okay?
Yeah.
And listen, that's the beauty of the way it's set up now. Those matchups are, once every so often, and they're special when they happen. And now you're going to make a regular league thing out of it? It's going to bore me to fucking tears. I'm actually pissed off that our team is a part of it.
Yeah.
All right? Yeah. I'll be a Milanista till I die. But if this European Super League really does go ahead, I'm not in. I can't do it. I'm not interested in this. I like it the way it is now. All right? I really do. And this is going to destroy football. I mean, I believe in this sport being developed all the way from the grassroots. Okay? David Gracio's is asking me really why. I said, I don't know why. Why? Because I like the way it is now. All right? I like the way it is now. All right? I
who's to say the leagues are going to keep the teams in their league tournaments?
Yeah, everybody likes the way it is now. You know, this is a pathetic money grab, all right, by some disgusting owners who are not football people. All right? None of them are. They're business people, and it's going to destroy the sport. It's going to destroy the sport in Europe. We could finally get more money. I don't, David, I care about what's going on the pitch. I don't care.
So will every other team in the league, though. So it won't make any difference. But yeah, no, it's good. Since you're speaking of money, by the way, this podcast is sponsored as well as the Super League by JP Morgan. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, JP Morgan says that all the founding members will get 3.5 million euros just to fend off the pandemic and have money to spend on this new. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. And the pushback on social media has been ridiculous. And these are from the teams that are involved. These are not just fans from the outside. These are Arsenal, Liverpool, I mean, Milan, Juve. All these fans of these clubs are like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, Gary Neville went on a rant, which, I rarely, and I mean rarely, probably never agree with Gary Neville, but he went on a rant about this whole thing. I agree with him 100%, actually. It's going to take away all the tradition and stuff. This has been, the poor man's game, working everyone into a rich man's club now. And it's ridiculous. And, what are the leagues going to do? UEFA is going to come down hard. More than likely, I mean, I don't know what FIFA is going to do, but they may scrap the European tournaments for some of these teams that are involved with, at least the players who are involved with these teams may not be able to play with their national teams potentially in European Championship. You're going to probably see, I mean, there's rumors that you may see all the semifinalists except for PSG disqualified, and PSG might be awarded the title.
That's not new to PSG. That's how they're winning their titles.
And the funny thing about this is they're going to win the title and then they're going to join the Super League because the three teams not mentioned are PSG, Bayern, and Dortmund. Those three will join.
I thought I saw earlier that initially Bayern and Dortmund are refusing to join.
That's because they're playing nice at the moment. I guarantee they're going to jump in there.
Oh, sure.
I guarantee those three.
Once they see what's all involved.
Yeah.
I have yet to talk to or come across a person that is on board with this and likes this. Nobody likes this. Nobody wants this. Nobody. And not even the players from the past,
yep,
that played for these clubs. Nobody wants this. I'm astonished that AC Milan has gone along with this. All right. They might not, maybe because they just didn't have a choice. It's like, all right, follow the money, but and
Pouty Saud is asking who's the 3.5 billion going to come from? It's JP Morgan's financing all this. I mean, they're the money financiers, and they're going to find ways to pay all these clubs. I don't know where this money is going to come from, but that's a lot of money for all these rich clubs. And I mean, there's rumors that maybe Gary Neville brought up the point that maybe all these leagues should heavily sanction these clubs for doing this. And imagine if Serie A did that, right? Because 3 of the top 4 teams right now are mentioned in the Super League. So imagine, Agnelli, first of all, trying to ruin Inter Scudetto hopes by, doing this Super League and get them deducted. But then Inter, Juve, and Milan could get deducted points. Maybe Atalanta wins the title. We were joking earlier, but, I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible right now. It's still very early. I'm sure nothing's going to be that crazy reaction this year, but, I mean, in the following years, who knows? This is ridiculous, and I think from tradition standpoint, I mean, first, all the leagues like Serie A, does Serie A keep these 3 clubs in their league? I mean, if these clubs don't remain, it's going to be a wide open for the Scudetto or any title for any of the leagues going forward, which may be more entertaining, but all the good players are going to be bought up by these super clubs, and then the quality of the pitch, yes, it's going to be better for the league. In what sense? That all the best players in one league? Maybe. But the rest of the leagues are going to be hurting because all the talent's going to be just ripped away from them. And they may have a good year here and there with like teams who can scout very well. Will have a good year here and there, but then they'll lose everybody. It's going to be a vicious cycle. It's going to be, I don't know, man. I'm not on board. I'm not on board
either. But here's the funny part. If all this happens and those 3 teams jump ship to the European Super League, Roma still won't win anything. They won't.
They might get Champions League, though.
Other clubs are going to jump them and win the Scudetto. Roma's going to still sit there holding the bag, holding the tree.
Maybe.
So that's what's going to be awesome about it.
Oh.
I mean, and I went to Twitter and I said, look, the only redeeming quality I'm going to get out of a European Super League is watching Juventus get the shit kicked out of them every week.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen. All right, I mean,
Milan too. Inter set up well right now,
but I mean, it's just like you know what? I believe in the sport in its purest form. I believe in the sport in its purest origins. I don't believe in this pathetic attempt of a cash grab for a handful of clubs and just making themselves exclusive to everybody else. All right, I don't. It's not right.
And the way it's supposed to be played right now is that games will be played midweek to not conflict with the weekend games, but that's the same time the Champions League goes on. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, if JP Morgan really has a hard-on for this kind of thing and getting involved in in some sort of financial aspect with European football, all right, they would be better off, and they would optically would look a lot better if they could figure out how to partner with UEFA, okay, to tweak the Champions League brand, all right,
which they did this year.
Which they did this year, which they've done in the last couple of years. But if they want to try to tweak it even further, or figure out how to inject money into it, that would be a much better look than pulling 12 teams, from member associations within UEFA and telling them, hey, here's a lot of money, come and join us, and then eventually 3 more teams, and then whoever else after that.
I don't know what FIFA stances in all this. I read all the comments and blah blah blah, but that's going to be big because we know that UEFA is going to come down hard. They're going to come down hard on all the teams, all the players that are involved with these teams. So as kind of Zhiyun kind of points out in the chat, if this starts affecting the national teams, are people going to a lot of people want to win the World Cup. That's like that's the ultimate dream, right? If it starts affecting those players and they're unable to play in these big tournaments because of their involvement with these super leagues, that could really change things. That could be the decider, I think. So what FIFA decides is going to be big because UEFA is going to sanction these players, so that's going to affect the European teams. Now, how does it affect the rest of the world? That's going to be the question with FIFA. So stay tuned. It's going to be ever changing.
I mean, this whole thing doesn't make sense. The clubs that have been selected don't make sense. What is it? It's in England. It's the 2 Manchester clubs: Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea. Yep. And then I can't go along with this. I just can't.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a very hard time being interested in wanting to watch these games and that sort of thing. I said that's what's made the Champions League special, that you get that special 2-game occasion, in a knockout stage, 2 clubs, from different countries. And to be able to see it every so often, not to have to see it every year, and see upsets. You're not going to see upsets. You're going to see, Arsenal beat Juventus, whoop-de-doo. Oh, Juventus beat Real Madrid, whoop-de-doo. I mean, they're all teams that should be beating each other once in a while. You're not going to have that Cinderella story in that for sure. I mean, maybe occasionally they'll leave 3 or 4 spots for a team that can get promoted, each year, and maybe they do something great. But it's. I don't know. It's right now. I don't like it. I mean, we'll wait and see what the full details are, what happens, what's the fallout from all this. But I don't like it right now, man. And and if it were to happen, and it also depends. Will the main thing for me is, will these clubs that are involved, will they be allowed to play in their leagues? Well, what's that going to be like? And if they are, okay. But if they're not, then do you change your allegiance? I mean, maybe so support your team in the Super League, but do you find a new team in the league? So like for example, if Milan, for us, if they go to Super League and not in Serie A, do you find another team to follow? Yeah. Would you watch if Milan was in regardless of the league? I would honestly have a very hard time watching Milan in a Super League. I honestly don't know. You'd watch in the beginning, and then you're like, okay, it's nothing. It's not meaningful. It's not meaningful. I'm old school. Okay, I'm old school. I love the old. Yeah, Richard could be a Crotone supporter. Officially, he could wear his old Falcinelli jersey and parade around. It'd be great. After they get relegated and promoted back, right? Yeah, I would probably support Napoli if that happened, or if I had to Palermo, or even Palermo. I think I would support both Napoli and Palermo. I kind of do. Nathan, Palermo's got to actually get back in Serie A before they can be your Serie A team. Yeah. I don't. Johnny's making an excellent point. Won't blame the diehard fans for watching their teams in that league, but I think the passion would be dead. Absolutely right. Yeah. Absolutely right. This is like,
Do you know the cost of that too? Going to those games?
right.
Who can afford it?
Right.
Celebrities.
I mean, I have my greatest memories of watching sport is when I is from Milan. I mean, if I have my top 10 greatest sporting memories of all the teams I support, Milan probably take up anywhere from 5 to 7 of them, with the Italian national team maybe taking up one, and the U.S. national team taking up one, and then maybe being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Okay, I mean that's where it is. I mean, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but when they lose, okay, 5 minutes later, I'm on with something else in my life. All right, and here in Milwaukee, I support the Brewers and the Bucks. When they lose, all right, I get on to something else. The Milan losses sting harder for me. Okay, and so it's different, and you'll turn that into, to Johnny's point, the passion would be dead, and suddenly watching Milan, they would lose a match in this Super League, and I would be over it like the second it was over. So, it wouldn't have the same. It would not evoke the same emotions that a European night does in the Champions League, or a Serie A game where it's on the line for a top 4 place, or for a Scudetto, or for clinching the Scudetto, like it did in 1998 when Zaccaroni's Milan won on the last day. I was euphoric because there was at the same time as Lazio, and Milan had to go and beat Perugia, and they won with Oliver Bierhoff scoring that goal. That was there's few times where I shouted really loud after a game was over. That was one of them. Yeah. So, it wouldn't be the same.
I was thinking, well, it would be nice if you're a fan of one of these teams in the Super League and you won the whole thing. I don't know if there's some way to win it. You could gloat that you're the best team in the world, best European team in the world. But then on the same front, all these fan bases have annoying fans, right? They get very obnoxious. And imagine when those teams, whoever finishes first, you're just gonna hear nonstop. You're gonna have to turn off Twitter or whatever, social media, because you're like nonstop. We're the best team in the world. There's no proof. There's proof now. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. No more FFP. I actually kind of find it amusing that UEFA are going to crack down on all of these teams now after letting them slide with all of their financial irregularities through the years to keep them in their competitions. Yeah. So now they're gonna put on their big boy pants. So we'll see what UEFA has to say about this on Monday. We're recording this on a Sunday night. We just jumped right into this, Richard. So let's get into the particulars. First of all, the chat is jumping. We love all of you. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Get interactive. Ask us some questions if you want. About Serie A as we currently know it. And we could also, social media will need its own Super League. Yeah. Stevie's coming strong in the chat. If you're watching us for the first time here on our broadcast, please subscribe so that you can be notified of future broadcasts, and then also please drop a like if you're enjoying the content. So helps us out, means a lot to us.
Absolutely.
So thank you all. Thank you for joining Milan Weekly Pod for the championship every time, though. Johnny, you're going to come and say that on our podcast?
Hey, he's a Calcio guy too, so
yeah. And well, I guess he's conceding defeat.
That's right. Could be worse podcasts to fall defeat to. So
Stevie only covers one team. We cover 20.
Yeah, they do a damn good job.
They do a damn good job. We love them.
We do.
They haven't had me on in a while. I don't know. I don't understand why.
The truth comes out.
So hey, Stevie, get with Presidente. Get on it. I only have a couple of Monday nights left before my golf league starts up, and I'm not available. So, all right. So, I mean,
some more. There's so many things that came from this story. I mean, first, Agnelli is the president of UEFA, whatever. Right now, and he had to step down because of all this news. Because obviously, he started the whole Super League thing, or part of it, right? This is so many fallen pieces from all this stuff. And it's still too early to say anything really, other than our gut reaction, which we've all said today, and we just did on the podcast. But once more details come from this, like what will the leagues do, what will UEFA do? That's the big chip, right? And then where it goes from there, then we'll get some more clarity on this, and we can really hone in on our discussion. But for now, it's just a reaction of The big news that came today, the official announcements, because every club on Twitter of these 12 teams all made the official announcements on their Twitter today and social media. So, yeah, it's going to be a hectic week, a fun week, but it's the timing is terrible for sure.
Sure. We've got a lot to go over. We actually had, as long as these guys are still eligible for the Champions League, we had games that had serious top four implications. And then we have the rest of Serie. There were 41 goals scored over this past weekend, so we've got to go over all of that. And then Who Won Calcio Twitter coming into tonight was really, really light. So it's not anymore, Richard. I think I spent the last hour, and I really went through the usual cast of characters, and I found some gems. So
yeah, Super League brought a lot out tonight too. So
yeah, and as we're talking about that, we should just make a point here. One thing that I want to talk about, we will get into this, but one of the things that I will encourage you guys to go ahead and do, at some point, check out who is it at? It's Statutos. I want to make sure we got this right, Richard. Because we're not going to get. I mean, I don't think we're going to give them the win because it's his tweet, but I think it's the reply. It's all of the replies that are getting it done. But I'm looking for it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay, so for all of our listeners, the replies are very quality. But look up at Statutos, and I believe that's 2 underscores. It might just be 1. Okay. And all he says is Super League should have storylines like the WWE.
Oh yes, that one.
And the replies are epic. And there are too many to try to throw up there on the board for Who Won Calcio Twitter, but I do want to give recognition to that. That was very well done. Are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking coffee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
right.
I thought about bringing tonight was the night to bring out alcohol, but I was like, I'll drink coffee.
I wanted to go to something stiffer, but I'm going to stick with the Spotted Cow because I have to work tomorrow. So
today's my Saturday, so
today's your Saturday.
I guess I could drink.
You should have been. You should be drinking.
I should be.
Make me look like the degenerate. No.
One of us has to be composed tonight.
What's that?
One of us has to be composed tonight.
Well, I'm composed.
That's true.
I'm from Wisconsin. We're the drunkest state in the union. So, or we have the best tolerance. We probably could say that too. So, but let's jump into this, Richard. There were 3 games that had an impact on the top 4 as we know it. Those all happened today. So I'll run through that batch here. Milan hosting Genoa. That was for anybody that woke up early this morning to check that out. Milan winning 2-1. Ante Rebic with a goal of the week candidate in the 13th minute, 37th minute.
You're a man. You're a man.
Do I have to read his name again?
You do.
Jesus, I should have given you this one.
She got a tattoo.
Mattia Destro scoring on his former team. He celebrated a little bit. And then in the 68th minute, Çalhanoğlu, Çalhanoğlu had 6 chances created in this game, 6 key passes. I think they're counting this as one of them. It hit the back of Gianluca Scamacca's head and went into his own net. So I'm pretty sure the statisticians were counting that as a chance created for Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Well, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Another big key moment later on, late in the game, a double on the line save, a double save off the line. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Where it was first Simon Kjaer, and then followed up by Tomori saving off the line. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. Yeah. David Guaraccio, Scamacca, dreams of joining Milan are over after scoring that own goal. Don't know. I think he was just trying to audition for this part.
Him and Stricker Larson, right? Both of them.
Yeah, why not? All right, so Milan in that game outshot Genoa 17-12, had a little bit more possession than Genoa, and I think a lot of that was attributed to Milan really spent after getting that 2-1 lead. I think they conceded a little bit of the ball more. Genoa, tried putting them under. Their best chances was again that double off the line save by the 2 center backs for Milan. But the Rossoneri get 3 big points. Who cares how they got them? They just got them. Atalanta and Juventus, the team that's too small for the Champions League, according to Andrea Agnelli. And Atalanta win 1-0. I believe Malinovsky's goal was the first shot on goal. Am I right in saying that?
No, because Malinovsky had a blast of a shot a few minutes before that
That's right.
Szczesny saved. But I mean, this was a good game. It was both teams' defenses played well. I thought Atalanta's defense played remarkably well considering who they have in defense. Juve had their opportunities. Golini played big. The defense was big. Palombo, Jimsetti, and I forget the other guy who was in there, but Toloi, excuse me. But yeah, no, they played very well, and both teams really came with a fight. It was probably the first shot on target, or one of the first shots on target for Atalanta, but they had a lot of shots in this game. I thought. Several that were missed wide. They had, Duvan Zapata missed a golden opportunity when Ilicic crossed it in, missing his header just wide. I mean, both teams, they brought in this. I think, obviously not having Ronaldo in this for Juventus, people thought it would have been a difficult game for them, but I thought Juve did pretty well in terms of possession, that was surprising to me. I thought Atalanta would have carried possession. Sure.
But Atalanta did go on and win this by 1-0. And then the Sunday night game, Napoli and Inter, that ends 1-1, certainly to the delight of Milan fans because they get some separation from Napoli and then they pick up a point on Inter, for any faint hopes of still, trying to catch them for a Scudetto that they may not win because of the Super League. But Inter may not win it either. So 36-minute oopsie with Samir Handanovic. He couldn't control a low cross that was coming his way, and it kind of fumbled into his near post. And then that was canceled out by a goal of the week candidate from Christian Eriksen from distance. There were a lot of goals from distance. There were a lot of goals from distance this weekend, but there were also a lot of own goals. Napoli did piss a lot of chances in that game, Johnny. You're absolutely right. I think there was a great chance there later on in the game with Politano that he couldn't finish. Those were among many of them. Napoli had a great chance to grab 3 points out of this game. Instead, they just get the one. Inter won't be terribly bothered by this 1-1 draw there. Let's start with that game, Richard. I just got done saying Inter won't be terribly bothered by the draw. Napoli probably should be more bothered by not getting the 3 points to keep pace or to try to get themselves in a much tighter position. When you take a look at this Serie A table now, that's 2 points dropped where they could have been level on points with Juve. But your thoughts on the Napoli-Inter game?
Yeah, this is an interesting game. I thought, going into this game that, Juve or Inter were going to have all the cards right in this one, and Conte was really going to set the team up well. Napoli, to their credit, they stepped up, in that first half. They get that early nice goal, a nice gift from Handanovic, and they took it to Inter, and they missed so many chances. To Gianni's credit, they could have scored so many more goals, and they didn't take those opportunities. And as it does in this sport, when you don't take your opportunities, the other team usually comes back and finds a way in. And goal of the week candidate with Eriksen there in the thumper, but it wasn't like it was all Napoli. Inter had their chances as well. Lukaku hit a crossbar and a post in this game. Hakimi missed a header from near range. There was a lot of good opportunities for Inter as well. So, Napoli, I think, Gattuso, what he does in these big games as of late when he's with Napoli, before that was different. But with Napoli, he tends to play very disciplined defensively, not to give up too many opportunities, no clear-cut opportunities, I should say, and really try to limit the chances from the opposition. Meanwhile, trying to counterattack and get some nice goals that way, create some opportunities. And they did, I thought in this game. I thought the plan was going very well until that second half, it just started getting away from them. Inter kept pressing in and trying to get that goal, and they finally did. But Napoli, they're going to rue this day because they, like you said, they had a chance to equal Juventus, and what they want more than anything right now is to beat Juventus in terms of the standings. And so now they're still 2 points behind them, and Juve are fourth now. So it's just the way these cards are falling right now. It's interesting. Atalanta getting the big 3 points today too. To out jump Juventus. It's just everything's falling very so interesting. And where we thought the top four was secure, now Napoli 2 points behind Juve, and now Lazio. Look out, Lazio! They're 2 points behind Napoli. So it's still wide open, and so the teams 2 through 6, really. I mean, Roma. I'm sorry, Roma, you're 4 points back behind that, but it's any of those teams could go anywhere. You really have to finish the end of the season strong here, or you could easily have 2 of the teams in the current top 4 out. So. Mm-hmm.
Dybala getting a high-profile role today. How do you think he did?
So say it again.
Paulo Dybala getting a high-profile role for Juventus. How do you think he did? I'm jumping around a little bit here.
Yeah, no, he did okay. This is an opportunity for him with Ronaldo not starting to really get back into the limelight for Pirlo and do some great things, and he did okay. I thought he had a free kick that was that nearly scored, wonderfully shot top corner that just went over the bar. He created some opportunities, I thought, but not enough for me for the type of player we know he's capable of. And it could be because he sat so much this year and didn't play so much that he's not into the groove of it. I thought he could have done. He could have been a game changer for Juventus. And I mean, Juve played well, but I feel like Dybala could have done a little bit better. I think overall, he ended up leaving to get substituted out, and then. Juve did start creating some other opportunities because Kulusevski came in and he started doing some really nice things. So, yeah, much to be desired, I thought. But what about you? What are your thoughts on Dybala?
I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
I really think he's damaged by this Ronaldo stuff.
Yep.
I really think it is. I really believe that. He broke out, played great in 2017. Was a big part of Juve reaching that Champions League final. He, struggles a little bit in 2017, 2018, and then Ronaldo arrives, and it's practically at the expense of Paulo Dybala. I think he can still bring it. Alex Dono asked me this question, if Juve should move on from Dybala, and I said, well, if they move on from Ronaldo, they better not move on from Dybala, but they may have to, or Dybala might want to move on. It might be in his best interest to get himself into a new environment and start over where he doesn't have to.
Didn't his girlfriend say something on social media about there's nothing to do in Turin or something like that? I forget. There was something some controversy about that recently, I thought.
Oh, that'll fuel the rumors more.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe PSG's in his future. Who knows?
Yeah, but then at PSG, he's got to go and compete with guys like Di Maria and Neymar and even Draxler. I mean, I think Draxler would probably get pushed out if that happened. But
yeah.
So it's where can he go where he can be the man? I think that he has the opportunity to be the man again, and he doesn't have to, get into a huge fight with somebody else for that opportunity. So. They give him the responsibility of wearing the number 10, which is supposed to be a sacred number at Juventus, and then they turn around and they go and they get Ronaldo. How loyal do you want to be to a club? When that happens. I mean, I think that just, that put his career over the last 3 seasons arguably in neutral. When there was a time where he was on a trajectory and on a path to being considered world class. Now, granted, I don't think he would have been in the conversation of a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Lionel Messi or a Ballon d'Or candidate or anything like that. But certainly somebody that you would look at, and when you're looking at the team sheet, we better figure out where this kid is, and deal with him. So, and now Juve are going to need him because Chiesa's injured, and we'll have to see what the extent of that injury is, but I think that's you lose Ronaldo for a game that you can deal with that, but you look over the last several weeks, and we have been harping on it here at Serie Sitdown, how important Federico Chiesa has been to Juventus. And now you don't have that charging midfielder presence that attacks all those spaces that are there when Ronaldo's being marked, when Morata's being marked, and so on and so forth. It almost makes Juve a little bit more predictable, and now you're going to ask Weston McKennie, who can do it in flashes, but not at the consistency that Chiesa does, and Aaron Ramsey, who can do it in flashes, but not at the consistency that Chiesa does. And there's going to be some issues there, and I think this is a problem for Juve if they have Chiesa out for a period of time, because I think this makes them pretty predictable.
Yeah, it does. And they need, many you've seen. I've seen a lot of Juventini talk about how the midfield really needs some help, and and getting some players in there that can really pull the strings and really dictate the play, because that's what they're lacking right now. They have a little bit of that grit, the fight, and some players who do the hard-nosed stuff. But in terms of someone pulling the strings, they don't really have that at the moment. Dybala's not doing his thing. Kulusevski comes in flashes, like you said. Some of the other guys comes in flashes, but really, when you look for playmaking ability, the only guys you really have are Ronaldo when he got the ball on his feet, or maybe Morata when he's going on a run. Like today, he had a great run and he almost scored a nice goal. But yeah, who else are you going to go to, right? And they really don't have that guy right now. And Dybala from a few years ago, yeah, that would have been perfect. But he's lost it mentally or something. I don't know what it's been, the whole Ronaldo thing, like you mentioned. So yeah, they need to figure out a way, maybe with this new injection of money, they can figure something out. But no, I expect Juve this summer to spend some money and probably bring in a player who can add those attributes. And whether one player moves on, big name player, or two, that's certainly a shoe they're going to need to fill as someone who can pull the strings. Really, a true 10 type player that can really create opportunities and don't allow your strikers to do it all. Give them some freedom to actually do what they got to do and make those runs so you can find them as well. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting come this summer what happens with Juventus here, because we know there's some obviously big holes to fill, mostly in the midfield. And will they act upon it? Will they act in the right way, or will they try to bring somebody from the youth? Who knows?
Yep. Atalanta. Man, they've been great, and I think that this validates them as a, let's say for some reason the Super League doesn't happen, and we still have a Super Six, or maybe a Magnificent Seven of Serie A. They've really cemented themselves not only as a seventh team, but a team that's in there consistently. Yeah. The project under Gasperini. Look what he does in this game. He puts out a starting lineup of Pessina behind Zapata and Muriel, and then, well, I know the Super League is going to happen. I'm speaking hypothetically, Jose.
You see Pessina's missed opportunity. He really missed a great
chance early. Yep, I did.
I think Atalanta is certainly a consistent threat now in Serie A. Arguably a top 4 threat every year. I'm not sure. And I may get backfire on this, but I'm not sure Golini is the guy to lead them between the sticks. I don't know if you saw the play at the end of the first half where Rabiot drags him out of the box, and he's widely out of the box, and he gets a hand on the ball right on the line. That could have cost his team a big goal had he been a foot in front of that line. Yeah. He got away with one there, and I don't know. He's a good goalkeeper, no doubt about it, but I don't know if he's the goalkeeper that can lead them into greater success. And obviously they need an upgrade in defense too. Maybe if he had a better defense, he'd be better. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But something about him, I'm just not quite all there with him. I think there's room for improvement, maybe from him, or just against someone else.
I think the defense in general, we talked about this last week. I think they have their issues. I think that there were moments. I think in this game they got lucky. All right, in certain spots, and there's an old saying: you got to be good to be lucky. Sure. And Atalanta's good, so.
Dragowski to Atalanta, that would be that would make them really good, even better.
Yeah, you'd have a very.
Still need a defense.
Dragowski is definitely a better shot stopper than Golini. Not going to fight that. But they played without Romero in this game. They had Toloi, Palomino, and Jimshiti, which these guys are all. They're not going to scare you. No. So. If Atalanta could figure out how to strengthen and get good back 3 center backs, that makes them all the more dangerous. Because you look at how he subbed.
If you can get Gasperini to play all his best guys at one time instead of play half of them in the first half of the game and then switch them out in the second half,
he brings Malinovsky,
Ilicic, and
it's what are you nuts?
What is it? Is Juventus a team you just toy with? He did this with Inter too, and just put all your chips out there and let and go. You're not in another tournament. You got to worry about or rest these guys. It's not every 3 days. Just go ahead, put all your chips out there and see what happens. Maybe tactically you can't figure out a way to get them all out there at the same time, though I find that hard to imagine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's that scratches in my head every time he does this, and it pisses me off. 'Cause I'm like, why don't you? Ilicic is arguably your best player. He's not on the pitch, and then Malinovsky's getting better and better. And I mean, it makes sense to have Muriel and Zapata out there, but come on, man.
Well, when you set up the way they did here, Pacina behind Zapata and Muriel, you're saying, okay, we're gonna counter.
Sure.
Because when you've got the Malinovskys and the Iliciches of the world, and I'm being a little obvious here, but when they're in the game, when they're in the game, they're in there to help boss possession. Okay, so this was a counterattacking setup, to absorb what Juve was going to do going forward, and then they could hit them. I mean, and if you've got Zapata and Muriel as a partnership up front, that's very dangerous. And then you got Pacina finding the spaces that those two forwards leave. That looks good. I mean, and on the Pacina miss, that's a very good example of where it worked.
Yeah, and I get they're limited because they play a wing-back system, and obviously their two wing-backs are very pivotal in the way they attack.
Yeah.
So I get that. Again, there's not much room for all the pieces out there, but still, I mean, you would like to see Ilicic and at least Ilicic out there at the same time with Muriel and Zapata. It is what it is.
Sure.
There's a question from Automatico. Says, do you think that Juventus opted for a risky coach for this season, knowing that this announcement that today could possibly lead to their exclusion from Serie A? I don't think so. Wishful thinking. I think. No one could have envisioned when this would have came. I mean, when you're planning these things out years in advance, you don't know the date when you're going to announce it. It just happens. You have to get all the right pieces in place. So, I think they really went for Pirlo because they thought he was young, has a lot of potential in him. They thought maybe he could be Zidane 2.0. I think that's really, they wanted to kind of revamp the team and thought he could be the way to do it the way he wants to play the attacking style. So,
sure.
I mean, so we'll see. We'll see if they. I know there's rumors about Serie coming in for 7 games or somebody coming in for the last 7 games. I don't believe it. Juve's never done that. They're not going to do it now, I don't think.
No,
We'll, I mean, anything can happen now. I mean, we saw the Super League today, so anything could happen.
They'll finish the season with Pirlo. So,
I think so. It's only 7 games. Come on.
I don't see anything. I don't see any other outcome than that. So, and then we'll see what they do for the following season.
Yeah.
So now to Milan. I grabbed Milan Twitter by the hand after that game was over, and I said, "Guys, who gives a shit? It's 3 points."
You got to give credit to Genoa. They played well. They played Milan well. I thought they made it difficult. I mean, Milan makes things difficult for themselves, but I thought Genoa.
I mean, every Serie A supporter will tell regardless of team, is always going to. I mean, and it's so damn true. We all do it. Every single one. I visit all of these fan-based Twitter accounts, and they're all agonizing over their team's performances. Nobody in Serie A, not a Serie A fan I know, not a Serie A fan base I know that says, "Oh, this is easy. We're walking this." Even when Juve was been on this run, there've been moments where we're just struggling. We're not getting. We just make it hard on ourselves and all this other stuff. We are the most. I mean, you're not going to find many more "oh woe is me" fan bases than Serie A teams. It's just the way it is. I mean, even Inter fans right now, they're just nuts. I mean, I think Big Sheik is on there.
If you just followed the Inter timelines, you would think the Inter are struggling this year. Even right now. You're like, come on, guys. You're in first place. You've been first place for most of the year. Relax.
It's just insane. It's just insane. But having said that, you're at the stage of the season where you find ways to win games. You find ways to win, and sometimes it just falls for you, and luck is on your side. Mm-hmm. And in this case, Milan got a little lucky to get the 3 points: the own goal, the double goal line clearance. In some of those moments, the Krunic has got to play Kessie in on that counterattack, and he took too many touches. That should have been because this should have ended 3-1.
Yeah,
but
that double goal line clearance shouldn't have happened. Donnarumma fumbled that ball. It was a terrible mistake by him, but luckily, his defense is back there to back him up. So yeah, they got away with one, but I mean, you got to get lucky sometimes. So
yeah, I mean, to achieve the things that you're setting out to do in a season, you have to have the ball has to bounce your way, at times when you're not at the level that you expect to be at, from a performance standpoint. And, this is one of those games. You take the 3 points and you run like hell. And I don't have a problem with that. And you never apologize for winning. So, the center back pairing, Tomori getting beat, I'll forgive him on the Destro goal. It's like one of the rare times he's been beaten in man marking situations since coming over and joining. We saw Kessie was his usual solid self. I still don't understand how Calhanoglu still keeps getting high marks from some of these sites. I think they see that he creates 6 chances and they say, all right, fine. Well, one of the chances he created was an own goal. And then all of the rest of them were like half chances for the player, for the players who took the shot.
Yep.
So it's not like he created anything big, but it's worth noting. So, has your opinion changed about this top 4? I mean, has Juventus's loss start, and then the injury to Chiesa, does that raise some fresh concerns about their status?
I mean, there's still questions for me with not only Juventus but Milan as well. Milan has found a way to get 3 points today, but they're struggling still. They're still very much struggling. I thought for the long time that Atalanta were going to be the team that's going to threaten the top 4, whatever position they're in right now, because Atalanta can certainly jump up very easily the way they've been playing at the end of the season, and Juve and Milan have been struggling mightily. At times many games have been difficult for both of them. Juve had some big wins recently, and Milan had a big win, but overall it's been struggling for them. And this weekend was a prime example for both clubs, right? Juve lose and Milan barely win. So. Napoli, it's going to see if Napoli and maybe Lazio with outside chance find a way to be very consistent down the stretch, because it's going to be difficult. We talked about last week. Last week I was on the Calcio Connection recently with a freaking awesome panel, and we talked about how the such a tough lineup for Milan going down the stretch here. They're going to have to be on their game for the last 7 games to remain in Champions League, because they could very well lose many points. And if Atalanta keep motoring on, they got to play Atalanta. If Juve drops any more points, you could easily see Napoli or even Lazio jumping into that top 4 with that stretch of games they have to left to play. So, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. And Zlatan doesn't matter for Milan and Juventus with or without Ronaldo. They're gonna have to find ways to get points if they want to be in Champions League next year. If there's a Champions League next year, there'll be Champions League.
Sure. So that's a.
This may be a moot point if UEFA comes out tomorrow and says none of those teams can compete going forward. So
it could happen. But that's a summary of what we saw with the games that affected the top 4 as we know it. We're just going to call it top 4 as we currently know it.
Serie A as we currently know it.
Serie A as we currently know it. Because we're doing this recording on a Sunday night, and then on Monday, everything might change when UEFA comes out and makes the announcement. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But how about the rest of them, Richard?
Yeah, it's
A lot of goals.
A lot of goals. Yeah, let's start it off with Crotone hosting Udinese. Rodrigo De Paul got the goal scoring start in the 41st minute, made 1-0 there. Saimi, he gets into the action, gets a penalty goal, 17th of the season. My goodness, lots of goals for Saimi this year.
7 of them are penalties. I wanted to look that up because I felt like, man, he's got a lot of penalties. 7, which ratio-wise, that's not terrible.
Sure.
But you're kind of getting into Marco Borriello territory from when he played at Genoa before he joined Milan. I think that season he had 19 goals and 10 of them were penalties. So.
Yeah, or like Bruno Fernandes this year, 23 goals and 23 more penalties. Things happen. So, but nonetheless, Crotone get on the board. They get the goal, 1-0. Saimi had an opportunity to get another goal later in this game that he just missed wide. I don't know how he missed that goal. But another goal would happen this time through Rodrigo De Paul in the 74th minute, made it 2-1. This would not be the last we hear about Rodrigo De Paul, because he would get a red card, second yellow in the, I think it was a straight red actually. High boot to the player. I forget who the player was for Crotone, but high boot right outside the box. led to a great opportunity for them. But he gets a red card in the game, so it's almost like a Gordie Howe hat trick in this one. But Udinese nonetheless win 2-1 on the road. Big points for them. Sampdoria hosting Hellas Verona. Goal scoring started in the 13th minute. Lazovic with a goal of the week candidate free kick goal, 1-0 to Hellas. But then second half started, and this is my pick of goal of the week. Yankto with a wonderful volley in the 46th minute made it 1-1. A penalty will be awarded to Sampdoria. Gabbiadini steps up. He would score in the 73rd, 2-1. And then Thorsby with a nice goal in the 82nd minute, out jumping Silvestri to get the goal. 3-1 Sampdoria win at home. Moving on to Sassuolo, Bonaventura, goal of the week candidate, former Milan player. Nice goal by him. Made it 1-0 going into halftime. But 2 penalties in the middle frame of the second half. 59th, Berardi would get a penalty, get the goal there, and then in the 62nd get a penalty as well. Another goal there. So 2 quick goals for him, and then Maxime Lopez with a wonderful strike in the 75th made it 3-1 Sassuolo win. Fiorentina looked like they had a great start to this one, but let it all go away. Speaking of letting it go away, Parma was on the road against Cagliari, and they got off really quickly. Pezzella got a goal of the week candidate in the 5th minute. Wonderful volley by him, really outdoing what Bonaventura did in the Fiorentina matchup. 1-0 there. Juraj Kučka make it in the 31st would make it 2-0. Again, Parma with a 2-0 lead. The most dangerous lead for Parma is 2-0. Pavoletti would peg one back before halftime. Lovely header goal. I mean, great cross, great finish by him. 2-1 at halftime, Parma lead. They would actually make it 3-1. Man, which I should put the music on, right? Man gets a goal in the 59th minute. 3-1. You think this is a walk, easy game for Parma. A big relegation 6-pointer here. But Marin steps up in the 66th, gets a goal, 3-2. Then the game could get tighter and tighter. Pereiro with a goal of the week candidate in the 91st minute, 3-3. You think this game's going to be over, right? No, it's not over. Cherry gets the game winner. Down from 3-1 up to 4-3. Cagliari wins. Big 3 points for them in their fight to survive Serie A. This was a crazy 7-goal thriller. Wonderful, wonderful game. Another game with a lot of goals. I'm gonna lose my voice for all the goals that are being scored here. We still got plenty of goals to talk about.
I gave you the games with all the goals.
Yeah, thank you. Bologna matchup. Orsolini gets a penalty goal in the 12th minute. Musa Barrow in the 18th minute. Wonderful pass by Schoten. Makes it 2-0 there. Ismaili gets a goal in the 34th, makes it 2-1 going to the halftime lead for Bologna. Svanberg would get a brace in the second half in the 54th and 60th. Bologna win 4-1 going away against the lovely blue jerseys from Spezia. I thought 7 goals was a lot. Lazio Benevento said, hold my beer. De Paoli gets an own goal in the 10th minute for 1-0 for Lazio to take the lead. Ciro Immobile finally gets his goal in the 20th minute, makes it 2-0. Joaquin Correa gets a penalty goal, 36. It's 3-0. And just before halftime, Marco Sau, a goal of the week candidate for Benevento, 3-1 there. They would start chipping away, but not before Montipo gets an own goal. Immobile doing everything right, but actually scoring the goals on the score sheet. This one actually is from Joaquin Correa that led to the own goal there. Viola would get a penalty. It was a legit penalty. He scored in the 62nd minute. There would be a Ciro Immobile penalty miss. He seems to be missing them more and more these days, but it didn't matter. They were still up 4-2 at that point. Emil Glick gets a goal in the 85th minute, makes it 3-3 or 4-3 at that point. Maybe they could come back like Cagliari, but no, 96th minute. Immobile would get his official brace. Lazio win 5-3. This is a crazy, crazy game. And then to round everything all out, Torino hosting Roma should be an easy cakewalk game for Roma, right? They get the goal scoring started early in the 3rd minute. Mayoral, great start, but then second half started, and Sanabria gets a goal in the 57th. Nice header ahead of the goalkeeper there, and then Zaza just minutes later made it 2-1, and then Rincon with capped off a brilliant play by Belotti, really stealing the ball and assisting to Rincon for the goal. 3-1 Torino win against Roma. Big egg on their face for this weekend, Frank. Where do you want to start with all these goals?
Well, quietly, Torino have won 3 in their last 5 and have 13 points out of a 10 points out of a possible 15. I'm sorry, 10 points. And that includes a a derby draw against Juve. The loss was at Sampdoria 1-0. They fought Inter hard and ended up losing 2-1. So this is a vastly improved Torino under Davide Nicola, and I think as this goes on, they're going to get safer and safer. You know, Belotti's involvement notwithstanding, and I think he had some influence in this game. He assisted Rincon's goal at the end.
Yeah, great play by him there.
Yep. But you see Sanabria and how vital he's been.
And he assisted Zaza's goal, too. He's the one who got the shot off that led to Zaza's goal. So, yeah, I mean,
yes,
for sure. And Sanabria has been brilliant lately for them.
So he's definitely been an addition, and he makes for a very nice complement to Belotti.
Yes.
You know, with his skill set. So Roma, maybe a little bit of hangover after enduring what they did on Thursday, surviving Ajax to get to the last four of the Europa League.
I like your term there.
Did Roma even have the ball? I think the only time they had the ball was when Dzeko scored.
Yeah.
At least it felt that way. Watching that.
Both legs. It was like that. But Roma found a way to get into the semifinals and potentially the finals. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
They're going to try to shithouse their way to the Champions League. So they may not have to.
They might not have to. The league will do it for them, or the top three teams will do it for them.
Yeah, so we'll see. Recurring theme about the conversation, Miguel, that I've had is that I could see that they could finally cash in on him if Cairo's not stubborn. And I think this is like the third straight week I've given this hot take. If Ceane could be a Torino player next season, and it's practical because of his association playing for Nicola when they were at Crotone. So
him and Sanabria together, that'd be good.
That wouldn't be bad.
No.
I mean, Ceane has got a lot of different. I mean, Belotti and Ceane are far different in their qualities.
Yes.
In what they bring as a striker, but they're both productive when they're on form. When they're on form. So, you know, I could see Cairo finally saying, "Hey, we're going to have to cash in on him now." So, but you never know.
Especially during this day of the pandemic, with so many teams losing money, you may have to recoup some of that money by selling one of your star players. And you know, if Saime's available, and because they probably will be with Crotone getting relegated, then why not?
Yep.
He's not going to cost nearly as much as what Belotti's going to cost for other teams.
Yep. So you can kind of see a little bit of a striker carousel going on there.
Yep.
Bologna. Oh, so that's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, when it goes well, it goes really well with them, and then the rest of the time you're like, "What the hell, man?"
Yep. I mean, and they had. That's the best possible team that they can put out there.
Yes.
You know, and it showed, and Spezia just didn't have an answer. Svanberg has been one of the, when we're talking about these mid-table teams, Svanberg's been one of the standout players among them.
Yes,
I
agree.
He's been fantastic, and it's kind of been under the radar. Unless you've been following Serie closely, you're not really spending a lot of time talking about him. In this game he scored, and I'm not saying this just because he scored twice today, but he is I think he has the tools to be, a complete midfielder. He can be box to box. He can step into spots and score goals. He can win tackles. He doesn't have. He doesn't make the killer pass from deep lying positions, but he doesn't give things away foolishly either. No. These are some of the things that I pick up when I watch him play. So, a player that Bologna can keep him, good on them. But he's a guy that could be finding work somewhere else, and Bologna might want to consider cashing in on him. So,
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I think Mihailovic will fight the backroom staff to the death on on keeping him, though.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't rule that out. But no, when you look at the team that they put out, this is the best possible team Bologna can play, and they performed to their level today. Today, and it was good to see.
Yes.
So, Lazio, I don't get it.
Which part?
I don't. How am I supposed to get? I mean, and the crazy thing is that they have a game in hand, and if they can win that game, they're on 61 points.
Yeah.
And they're right in this for the top 4, like you were saying earlier. But I don't.
3 goals against. It's not good.
Yeah, we talked about Atalanta last week that their defending might prohibit them from being a top 4 team when it's all said and done. Lazio's defending might prohibit them from being a top 4 team when it's all said and done. So,
you like what you saw from the attack? Immobile and Correa did really great things on the forward. Caused a lot of errors by Benevento, and if they hadn't caused errors, it would have been goals, right? So good stuff on the offensive end, but the defensive end, letting up too many goals, and to a team like Benevento, that's a team who we thought was probably safe. But don't look now with the win by Cagliari. It's only 5 points they're only 5 points up on Cagliari right now, so it's still too early to call that they're going to be safe. And so Benevento, right. they play attacking football, and not necessarily beautiful football, but they try. And it's not a team you expect to give up, score 3 goals on you against unless you're playing really bad, which maybe Lazio probably did defensively at least. Right?
If I'm Benevento, I'm I'm a Benevento supporter. I'm very, very concerned right now.
Absolutely.
Conceding a lot of goals at a very bad time. You're only 5 points clear of a Cagliari team that just got a huge momentum-changing win. And it's a Cagliari team that has enough talent to figure out how to dig their way out of this.
Yep.
Would not surprise me if Cagliari gets out of this, and they get out of it at the expense of Benevento. Now, Fiorentina and Torino are also sitting there on 30 points, but we talked about Torino. I think they're on the upswing, and I think they're going to get safer and safer as this goes on. Fiorentina, I think, have just enough to survive. I think Vlahovic is obviously playing really well. We've talked a lot about him. They're getting contributions, and while it didn't go well for Fiorentina this weekend, they played a very good Sassuolo team. There's enough in Fiorentina's locker to stay up. At least enough quality. But out of those 3 that are sitting on 30 right now, I would say that Benevento is going to be the least comfortable.
Yes.
I would say to an extent, Spezia needed. I would have probably been sold on Spezia being safe if they would have gotten something out of this game against Bologna. But they're not totally out of the weeds yet. Let's take a look at Spezia's run in here. They host Inter on Wednesday. Oof. All right, and then they go to Genoa on Saturday. Not going to be easy. And then on May 1st, they're at Verona, and then they host Napoli. I mean, Spezia has a pretty tough run in.
Yeah.
And then at Sampdoria, then they got Torino, and then they host Roma. So Spezia have a pretty difficult run in. So even at that 32 points, they're not particularly safe. They would have been at that 35-point threshold with a win, and I think 35 is going to be enough to keep you up. Benevento is going to Genoa, hosting Udinese, at Milan, hosting Cagliari, which is going to be a huge game, May 9th. And then at Atalanta, hosting Crotone, at Torino. So Benevento's run-in, not as bad. Okay, and then let's look at Cagliari's run-in. At Udinese, and Udinese have definitely been playing better, hosting Roma, at Napoli, at Benevento, which we talked about, hosting Fiorentina, at Milan, and then hosting Genoa. So, okay. So
not as bad as Spezia's, but...
No, Spezia's run-in is the toughest.
Yeah.
So they still got to sweat this out a little bit, and they've got to dig in, and they've got to try to find some results. So I would say, looking at 32 for Spezia sitting in 14th, and then you've got the 3 teams on 30. I still say Spezia and Benevento are probably the 2 least comfortable there.
Yeah. The only saving grace for both of them is it's only 1 spot, not 2, right?
Right. One of them is going to get to stay up at this point.
Yeah.
I would probably say Spezia. Okay. I would probably say that, I'd say that Benevento is in the biggest trouble. They do have a 5-point cushion.
Yep.
But this is a good Cagliari. This is a talented Cagliari squad. If they can figure it out over the course of the last 7 games, it's probably at the expense of Benevento.
I agree.
So, Ranieri gets it done again.
He does. The Tinkerman.
Yeah.
Finds way. I mean, Hellas has been spiraling lately. They're on vacation mode at this point.
Yeah, they've hit the beach.
Yeah, definitely at the beach. Sampdoria is not. They're just. I guess they're just continuing trying to at least secure that mid-table. I guess, and they did that now with the 3-1 victory over Hellas. I mean, they're like 2 points behind Hellas now, so good for them. But yeah, Hellas is going to be probably going to see a lot of players jumping ship at the end of the season. I would think.
Yep.
Just trying to make that money move and get some more money so they can revamp the team next year.
They could fall as far as 12th.
Sure.
I think you look at the three behind them: Sampdoria, Bologna, and Udinese, all playing relatively well. Udinese getting a win after having some frustrations. They were actually on a nice run of form before they hit a little bit of a slump here. But in that slump was losses to Lazio, Atalanta, and then a surging Torino team. They beat Sassuolo. They got a draw against Milan. They beat Fiorentina. They get Cagliari and Benevento as part of their run, and they're going to have some difficult games coming up. After that, Juve and Napoli chief among them. You look at Bologna, and we're talking about teams that are trying to sneak into the top half at this point because it's worth talking about. Bologna and Torino is going to be a very entertaining game on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then they travel to Atalanta. They host Fiorentina. They're at Udinese. Bologna might get to a point where I think that with that run-in, I think that top half for them at 10th or better is going to be tough for them. But Sampdoria gets to go to Crotone. They're at Sassuolo. They host Roma. They're at Inter. They get Spezia, Udinese. So Sampdoria can firm up 10th for sure with that run-in. And I think 9th is very, very doable for them.
Yeah.
8th with Sassuolo there might be a little bit of a reach.
Yeah, I think they're playing better lately, so it's going to be hard to catch up to Sassuolo.
Right, but I think you got to give a lot of credit to Claudio Ranieri, who is under the radar, done a really nice job with Sampdoria this season.
Yep, for sure. No doubt. And
they're one of the historic clubs of this league. You want to see them do well, and you want to see, hopefully it's a springboard for even better success. So I'd love to see Sampdoria back in the mix with all of these teams. I'm thinking of the old. Thinking of the old Sampdoria team of the early '90s that reached the European Cup final, and having David Platt and Vialli starting there before he went to Juve. So,
well, they may get their chance if Inter, Milan, and Juve get kicked out. So we'll see.
Sure. Why not? Gosh, the teams we're going to be talking about, and we might be Cagliari and Parma and Crotone might be safe.
They could be safe. Imagine that.
After all of this,
Crotone and Parma should be relegated regardless, right? But
no, they can stay up as long as Serse Cosmi puts the hat back on.
Okay,
put the hat back on, my man.
Maybe get a cigar or something too.
That's how I know you.
Yeah.
All right, you seeing that bald dome, and it's just like
he's lent his hat out to Mihailovic apparently.
Did he? Okay, get it back.
One of them.
Or get a new one.
Get a new one.
So. Anyhow, so that's my take on the wrap of those 7 games. What were your goals of the week?
I want to give a shout out to Berardi. Gets his 100th first goal of his career for him. But Bonaventura, that's an honorable mention for me. Coming at number 5, Eriksson, his thumper for the equalizer for Inter. Number 4 was a pair of wonderful curlers, one by Marco Sau with his right foot, and then Pereiro with his left foot. Wonderful strikes by both of them. Number 3, Lazovic with his free kick. I thought it was really well done. Number 2 for me, Petzela for Parma. Wonderful, well struck, I would say, by him. And number 1 for me, like I said, is Jankto's volley. I thought for Sampdoria, I thought it was a really well done there. So yeah, my top 5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm somewhat with you there. Eriksson's in at number 5 for me. Sal number 4. Pereiro 3. Lazovic free kick 2, and then Jankto is my goal of the week as well. Well taken. So, winners and losers. I mean, right now the big winner is Milan. If all things staying the way they are, beating Genoa. gaining some ground, gaining a couple of points on Inter, it's probably not going to matter too much. But getting some separation from fifth, and doing it in a fashion where they got away with one. So for me, Milan's my winner. My loser is Parma. I mean, again,
yeah.
I made the comment on Twitter. I said they have. If they could have kept all the points they dropped, we're probably talking about them. And I'm guessing. I haven't looked at it in great detail, but we're probably talking about them being in 11th or 12th right now, rather than sitting in 19th. I mean, this has been one of the craziest seasons I've ever seen as far as dropping so many points to the point where it gets you relegated.
Being up 2 goals too, and all that process. So
yeah, it's not like they were up 1 goal and hanging on for dear life, and then they get 2. They had how many 2-goal leads did they have?
2 today.
2 just in one game. Yeah.
Yes.
But over the course of the season, they had a handful of 2-goal leads that they have just pissed away.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Crazy.
My winners of the week are going to be Atalanta because obviously that big win against a team, small club who can't make Champions League beats a team who apparently is a perennial in Champions League. They beat Juventus. It was big points because they leapfrogged Juventus, and that leapfrog potentially could have even bigger implications, depending how things fall out. But for the time's sake, they jump into 3rd place. They're now 2 points behind Milan. Don't look out now. It could be a black and blue top 2 before we know it. So they're my winners of the week. Loser of the week is going to be European football. Super League announcement today has all the teams, at least for the teams that are involved, very critical about what's going on here. And we'll see how the cards fall here in the coming days and weeks and months. But it doesn't look good, at least at the onset. We'll see.
Real shame. It's still something that we're still trying to kind of absorb and get used to, but I don't even know if we're going to be able to get used to it. So
yeah.
All right, so we'll see. But we have the world's most popular hashtag game, which we have a lot in relation to the Super League.
Yeah.
But other things in general. It is time for Who Won Calcio Twitter. Lead us off, Richard.
All right. So the first one I saw came from, brought to the attention by us from Scott Monroe through Connor Clancy. Connor Clancy posted this post of Hans Hatteboer. He bought Robin Gosens a Cristiano Ronaldo shirt to make up for him being rejected after a game. So I guess Ronaldo turned him down for giving him a jersey, and so he bought him a jersey after the game. So technically Hans Hatteboer gets the nomination here for giving Gosens a jersey of Ronaldo.
Well played. Very well played. We've got Arthur Morelli.
Yes.
Jerry Two-Ply Mancini.
So for those who missed the Calcio connection, they had myself, Nima, Jorge, who follows Ligue 1, and then along with obviously Alex and Jerry. Jerry's stories, Jerry Time came back, and he told this story about not having any two-ply and decided to use a towel instead, and it wasn't even his house, and he put it back where he found it. So, Art Morelli said, okay, Jerry Two-Ply Mancini. Sounds like a wrestler's name there, but we gave him the nomination.
He wiped his ass on a guest towel.
And then put it back, folded it back, and put it back.
How atrocious. My estimation of him as a man just plummeted.
Go catch Calcio Connection. It was a funny story. We were dying. I mean, Nemo was crying. Goodness. I started crying. I mean, oh my goodness. Speaking of that.
Andy Delacoli's already saying can't wait for Sansoni to have 20 nominations and lose.
Yep.
He is. He's the nearly man of our... Go ahead.
Mike Lisi nominated me for my shirt at the Calcio Connection with Caicedo Greater than Immobile. Jerry finally got to see it in all its greatness in there. So they nominated me for my shirt. Thank you.
Nice. There you go. But employees of Serie Sitdown are not eligible for
that's true.
For victory.
Nominations good enough.
Nominations are appreciated. All right, at Don Pepino, Raiola heading to Juventus' headquarters.
Oh,
that's pretty accurate, isn't it?
It is. I'm laughing harder than I want to. That one. Okay. Joseph Fischetti nominated this one. This came from T._Tifoso. It says Politics for All proposed formation for Prince Philip's funeral tomorrow. They're going to 4-3-3 set up by the royal family tomorrow with some very interesting roles being shown. William and Harry overlapping the flanks with Andrew and Edward tucking in gives Phillips as a CDM. They play on the funeral. It's funny. It's funny. 4-3-3. I get it.
That's
too soon, but yeah.
Wow.
Hey, here's a WWE one.
All right, we've got some WWE ones. All right, Perisnitch is back on the board. Marina Granovskaya when she asks Pepe Murata for $20 million for Emerson Palmieri. The Stone Cold Stunner, and then followed by celebrating with some beers.
Well, we talk about one brother, we might as well talk about the other, right? Saturnion gets in the action, says Serie A when they have to play the league without Milan, Inter, and Juventus. Start crying.
Yeah, and he's
could happen.
He's wailing too.
Yeah.
We might all feel that way. That's the problem.
This is true. All right, what you got next?
Hang on, I got to turn this. For some reason, this wasn't muting. Okay. I want to get distracted. All right. At _FCIM Pazzo, parentheses, Super League founder. The Qatari spent billions preparing for the World Cup, only for Richarlison and Insigne being the biggest names there.
Oh.
Well done.
Oh, I'm starting to tear up already. Look at this. All right. So, at Mika 32X is the official anthem for the new Super League.
The Shane O'Mac theme music.
That's awesome. A lot of WWE stuff tonight. I like it.
Well played. I'm not going to read this next one. At first, I thought it deserved to be on the board, but I think it was like throwing some shade at a Zurifan film.
We don't want to do that. Yeah,
I'm not going to do it. I put it up there just to break some balls. So let's go to the next one. At Sites Milan. Well, it's the big show.
Oh my goodness, Higuain.
Gonzalo Higuain has let himself go.
Yeah, what are they doing? We'll have to ask Alex about this. What's they're doing down there in Miami now?
I actually thought that was Dono.
Oh my. All right.
I guess it won't be on his radio show this week.
No. At _Nera Zuri says Gallerini on, TV off. We all feel that way. Bobby gags.
He said I nominated it, and he actually replied to me because I go, sometimes simplicity is genius, and he said, I wish it was a joke, and I said, that's what makes it funny. We're laughing with you when he plays, not at you. And he said, I'm not laughing. I said, I still got it. I'm still putting it up there. So, all right. At DRusso2235, he's been on the board a few times. Don't think he has a win yet, but Napoli in the Serie A when Juve, Milan, and Inter all fuck off to the Super League.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's a thread? Imagine if after this tweet, Napoli is one of the teams that's joining the Super League. Oh, there you go. Just got the just dressed up in the and just going places, I guess, right?
That's right. That's right. Hey, Sansone is finally on the board. Daniel Arsato, legendary Juventino, he's on the board.
You know what? But this is, and I even pointed it out. I said this is low hanging fruit for a guy like Napoli Sansone. certainly demand more creativity out of. We see. Listen, those of you that repetitively make the Who Won Calcio Twitter board, we're watching you and we're evaluating you, and we know what you're capable of. So, yeah, sometimes you're going to get on for something like this, but we have and you should be honored that we hold you to higher standards. Okay, so this is not a winner, but anytime that you can make a Juve referee reference, we're going to have a chuckle at it. So, so we like it. And at Napoli Sansone, and he knows this. We certainly think that. Now this one, much better from at Napoli Sansoni. It's still funny that Delic decided to join a club that he absolutely manhandled. What a downgrade for him.
Oh, let's see what we got next. Okay. At Alessio Tackle, Napoli, Lazio, Roma fans look at the Super League announcement and they're not invited. Oh my goodness! Yes,
Is that is the one that's on the extended rant? Which team does he support? Then
that's a good question. He's Marici. That's Marici.
It's Jerry Mancini.
There you go.
Once again, we said we encourage you check out at Statutos _ Super League should have storylines like the WWE, and just enjoy yourself with this one because there's some quality responses to this thread. Haaland, when he faces off against Marcus Rashford's Man United, a shoot between Brock Lesnar, and I don't know who the other guy is.
Yeah, he says, I don't care about your kids. That's the first one. It's really good. Definitely check us out.
Yep. Another one, Suarez. Let me see. And here comes Gerrard as a surprise entrant.
He falls
Royal Rumble, and he slips and falls into the ring mat. Oh, my. Big clubs to Arsenal after finding out they made it to the Super League.
Yeah, who the heck's this guy? That's right.
Yeah. Ramos to Dembele in the hospital before every El Clasico. The old Stone Cold when he beat up on Vince McMahon and hit him with the bedpan.
Right. 3-man.
Great stuff. Let's see. Bruno Fernandes when someone pokes him in the box. That's good. All right. So that's so definitely everybody take a look at that. Let's see here.
That guy that he was talking to is Heath Slater. That's who it was.
Gotcha. And then at Inter Skriniar FC. So now here's the one. Inter need a goal, and Conte replaced Eriksson with Gagliardini, and it's, of course, from The Hangover, Zach Galifianakis figuring out the math with the blackjack.
All right, let's see. Greatest threat to world peace, Fiorentino Perez, 41%, and then Agnelli's in there, Joe Glazer. Look at all these guys.
It's all the businessmen trying
all the clowns.
Destroy football. Yep. All right, and then finally, Nerazzurri nominating at Tony's _ Plan B. The real virus is communism. European Super League is just how it spreads.
That's it, huh?
Let's pick a winner.
Oh my. Actually, there was one that I don't know where happened to it. It was let me find that WWE one because it kind of came off of that. I thought I retweeted it, but I don't see it. But so I'll show you the video that was used. I think Gianni's the one who nominated this or somebody. Oh, this one. So this one right here, the video I'm showing right now, it's this guy coming in the ring. It's in Napoli when they try to get into the Scudetto fight and he gets kicked out.
Hang on a second.
Or Super League.
I'm just trying to get this. What the heck is going on with my...
Anyways, there's some good ones.
Which one is it? Oh, okay. So you got another one? He's got kids was a gimmick for a while for a jobber like him. That's nice.
I don't know which one. The one with
yes, Johnny, we have standards.
Very small ones, but
they're very small ones, and we only have 3 feelings. So
the one that who said it? The one with Napoli when let me find it before I butcher this. Do you have one? Who's your winner?
I'm looking.
So I'm going to go with Di Russo, 22-35. Napoli in the Serie A when Juve, Milan, and Inter all fuck off to the Super League. And they're dressed to the nines.
You're going with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. We might have co-winners this week.
Okay.
I'm going with Don Pepino.
He's one of the first ones, right?
At Don Pepino, Raiola heading to
headquarters.
God, my damn.
Oh, that was great.
All right, so
Oh, Radiola.
Yeah, so that one's me, and you got. So
You know what? I'm going with Don Pepino.
Okay, we're
I'll
gonna
go
go
with
with Don
that too.
Pepino
Yeah,
for the winner
yeah,
of Calcio
unanimous.
Twitter. Okay, so add Don Pepino, a first-time entrant in Who Won Calcio Twitter.
Good
The
percentage there.
the Cinderella story.
See, you wouldn't have that if you go to Super Leagues, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine we did a
this-
Super League. Oh, that actually might work. No, I was kidding.
Well, we would still have Who Won Calcio Twitter and feature the teams playing in the Super League.
Yeah.
So, all right, my computer is going bonkers on me right
Maguire versus Messi. Who's excited? Laugh my ass off. That's true. Not
now. Good
Maguire.
stuff. All right, so at Don Pepino, congratulations, first-time entrant, and you're a winner of Who Won Calcio Twitter. Take a bow. Well played. Again, hashtag Who Won Calcio Twitter if you find anything useful, humorous, or otherwise that we might have some interest in.
No insults to other people, just teams.
Yes, please. Keep it clean. Keep it respectful. Well, clean within reason.
Yeah, within reason.
But
Give
keep it
small
respectful.
fingers.
Don't be offensive. Don't be a dick. And this is something we have fun with. And we'll read off the ones that got nominated and pick a winner the following week. So, and with that, we're going to put a bow on this edition of Serie Sit Down, Richard. Shameless plug time.
Yeah, just gonna plug away for Calcio Connection. The guys had me on this past Thursday, so just thank them. Follow that episode. It's a really fun. Follow all their episodes really, and actually follow everyone on that chat because we had Nima on there. Nima obviously does great things with Sempre in there, and also Italian football podcast as well. And then Jorge, he has a League On podcast as well, so you got to check him out as well. And then obviously Jerry and Alex for sure. They do great stuff. So check that out. And as always, you can follow me at r_KHARMAN. There it is.
Awesome. I'm at FTC_21. Serie Sit Down. We have our own channel on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud. We can be found on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever there's podcasts. There's Serie Sit Down. Go to at Serie Sit Down on Twitter or Instagram. Provide any comments from the podcast you've listened to here, any questions, comments, anything you want us to cover on future podcasts. We're all ears. We're happy to help. Also, you can find us a little bit on Facebook. We jump into that from time to time, but not as often as we do on Twitter in particular. So, chat, great stuff as always. The Who Won Calcio Twitter guys always coming through. I had a great time with you guys. Had a great time reading all of the nominees. A lot of it centered around obviously the Super League. So good stuff as always, and good time for everybody. So, Richard, next Sunday night.
Sounds good to me. Did I lose you, Frank? There you are.
Yeah. You signing us off?
I'm waiting for your sign off. You froze there.
I am. There I am.
Good night.
I'm here.